Uh, so look, you guys that are here with me today, what I would like to do is I do not want to bore you or go over things that you do not know, and I don't want to go over things that you don't know. So what I would like to invite everybody to do right now is go in chat panel and tell me what's your knowledge of options? I mean, is it I know nothing about options? Is it I know a little bit? I know what a call and a put is. Actually, let me rephrase this. Let's say you know what a call and a put is, so you're going to put in number one. If you don't know what a call and put is, you're going to put in -1. And then if you have traded options and stocks, put in like a number 5 or something. So let's work our way up to 10. I want to see if I want to tailor my presentation to what you guys need to know. That's all I'm getting at. So if everybody would do that, give me like a number 1. Okay, I got a number 1. I had some questions, the last time on Friday from some guys that were actually above and beyond beginner level. All right, so we're at number 1. Okay, we're still at number 1. Okay, great. Okay, so we're at the consensus is we're at number 1, maybe a little bit number 2. Okay, so that's what this class is about. It's about, what is an option? Why do we trade them? Where do we find options? What is an option? Yeah, that kind of crap. All right, so let's get after it. Thanks, Jerry. Lenny, Mike, Mark, thanks. Okay, so let's get after this today. Now, here's the way I'm going to start out today. Friday, I had some, slick presentation about some slides and stuff. Let's just jump right in today about what is really an option. How does it affect us? Why should we be concerned about it? Well, we don't need to be concerned about it, but interested is the word. All right, so first of all, I want you cats to look at the matrix that I have right here. Now you're going to see on the left side here, you're going to see a bunch of symbols. Okay. Now I don't want you to be confused over that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to go down to my stocks. Okay. Now you guys are familiar with Apple, I'm sure. Okay. Maybe even AutoZone. How about Buffalo Wild Wings? Where's that at? Up here. Okay. Now, each one of these instruments or these symbols represent a stock, right? So Apple is AAPL. Buffalo Wild Wings is BWLD. Amazon is AMZD. Now, those are all stocks. Now, each one of these stocks that you see in this on the left side here has options associated with their stock. Now, I said we're not going to get technical, and we're not. So I'm going to start with Amazon. All right. Now, take a peek at this right here. Now, at first glance, you're going to say, wow, that's a lot of numbers. That's a lot of stuff. I don't know what's going on. Okay, here's what I want you to look at. I'm going to highlight this right here. Okay, November. Now, these are everything that you see in this column are the November expiration options. So they have a definite lifespan, and they're going to expire in November. Now, look up here. If you follow my mouse, I'm hoping not to move it too fast. Right here, Amazon's trading at 234 today, right? Yeah, it's been up, it's been down. So these options represent people who want to either buy Amazon stock or think it's going up in case of the calls, which are these numbers, 215, 220, 225. See the C after that? Those are calls. Below this line is the puts. These are people who think the market's or Amazon's going to go down. Now, I'm oversimplifying this for you guys, okay? So people who buy calls, people who buy puts, the guys who buy calls think it's going up. The guys who buy puts think it's going down. Now, let's look at the stock itself. All right, let's talk about price charts. Again, this is very, very rudimentary, the basics. So I expect that anybody that's very, very new to trading or stocks or options, I hope you're going to ask me any sort of question that you can come up with. In fact, I'm counting on it. So please. Okay, so look, you see this chart? I mean, what are these lines? Crap. Well, each one of these lines represent 1 day of price action in Amazon stock. So let me move that out of the way. You see this little red line like right here at the end? Today, what happened is the market in Amazon stock, it opened a little bit lower, let's call it 230, and then it closed a little bit higher. See that little hash mark to the right there? Right there? That's where the price closed today. Want to know where it opened at? If you look very closely at this line, you'll see that there's a little hash mark right here to the left, right about there. Let me move my mouse. Right there. It opened a little bit down, it went lower, and it closed higher. So this is a basic little bar chart. And what happens is on this chart, it's hard to see sometimes, but to the left of the bar, there's a little hash mark, and it shows where the price opened in the day. The hash mark to the right shows where it closed. So, maybe it opened up, maybe it went down, whatever. So there's a lot of things you can, infer from this. So that's a bar chart. We're more concerned about these things. Now, I'm going to talk about what a put and a call is. So please don't look at this matrix and think that this is very complicated, because it's not. Amazon stock right now, well, I guess it closed at 234 today, okay, right here. So let's say that I think Amazon stock's going to go up. Well, see this number right here? Right here? 245. Oh, hold on a minute. Let me get 235. Sorry. The 235 call. Okay, this is a call. What this means is that if you think that Amazon's going to go up over the next 12 days, Wouldn't bet on it, but anyway, over the next 12 days, you could buy and add the money, 235 call, but it's going to cost you $4.50. So in other words, you don't have to buy Amazon stock. You could just buy the call, expecting that it's going to go up. Now, let's suppose it does go up. Let's suppose it goes up $3. Well, you had to pay $4.90 to buy the call, so you're not going to make any money on that. So you can't just buy calls and buy puts because they have a little thing in there called time premium. Now, the time premium, if you look at this particular example right here, you'll notice that what I'm pointing at is I'm pointing at a 235 call. So in other words, Amazon right now closed at 234.33. So it's not quite at 235, right? A little bit below it. Now, if I were to come to you in your house tonight and say, hey man, I bet you that Amazon's not going to go up. And you say, yeah, I bet it is. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, over the next 12 days or 11 days, I bet you it's not going to go up more than $235. And you say, well, man, it's at 234 right now. Sure, I'll bet you that. But what if I say to you, well, like a football game or something, I'm going to charge you $5. So in other words, you have to pay me some skin, like $5, to bet me that the market's going to go up past 235. You're going to say, well, crap. That means it's got to go to what? 240. Is that a good deal? I don't know. I don't think so. Well, it depends. If there's news, like earnings, maybe. Okay, so what I want you guys to understand about options is that when you look at what I've got on my screen right here, you're going to look at a lot of numbers. You're going to look at like percentages. You're going to look at things like called MIV, delta. Okay, we're not going to get into that just yet. We're going to talk about incrementalism. We're going to talk about why options, what do they mean, how do they trade. Let's say that I were to come to you today and I said, hey man, I bet you $100 that Amazon's not going to go up past $234 in the next 2 days. And you say, okay, I'll bet you that. That would be an even trade, right? Well, we don't do that. And the reason we don't do that is because we don't know what's going to happen. So options have a premium, okay? A premium. So if you think, for instance, that Amazon in the next 12 days could, I can't highlight that one, but right here, if you think it could go up to at least $245, that's $10 higher. For you to place a bet, it's going to cost you $1.42. Now, what does that mean? $1.42, no big deal. Well, it is a big deal. Here's why. Because I'm going to just buy it right here. Okay? Right there. One option contract equals 100 shares of stock. Okay? So it's not just $1.42, it's $147. That's not a big deal. Big deal, Tony. Well, let's say let's buy 100 then. Okay, so now it's costing you 14 G's to predict that Amazon's going up. Now, we don't do that. Okay? We do not do that. What we do is we think about, hey, let's look at the price chart. Can Amazon, I don't know, does it trade in a range? In fact, I wonder how much of a range could it trade in over the next 10 days? Could it go sideways? Yeah. So what if I said to you that instead of predicting which way Amazon's going to go, which we can certainly do, and we have strategies to do that, but let's just say that I said, man, I don't know which way it's going to go. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to sell 10 of these 250 calls and collect the 69 cents. And I'd like to sell 10 of these down here in the puts. So I get 49 cents, 69 cents. Basically, that's $690, and that's $490. Now, I'm not saying this is what you should do. Okay, I'm just going to give an example. Oops. Now, I want you guys to look closely at this graph. All right, now, this solid line right here is 0, break even. Everything below it is losing money. Everything above it is making money. Now, you see this little line right here that like drops off? All right, that's today. That represents what would happen theoretically if you were to sell, calls and puts against Apple today, and the market moved up. Theoretically, you might could lose some money, right? Well, look at this line right here. Okay, this line is 6 days from now. This line shows you what would happen if you did the same thing and you held it for 6 days from now. Now, you notice how up in here, you're making money. See this? See, you're above 0. Now, let me zoom this out. Again, this is a very simple explanation here. So, time decay of options will actually allow you to earn money if the market goes up or down or whatever. Now, see this? I'm going to show you another thing. Let's look at the price chart. All right. You see this little green area right here? Okay. If the market in Apple, if Apple stock stays within this green area for the next, 10 days, you're going to make money. Looks like a decent area. I don't know. Could be wrong. But it looks okay. So what we try to do as a professional options trader, we try to design positions where we can't decide over time consistently. We can't decide if the market's going to go up or down. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. But what would be better? I mean, if you're right, if the market just stays in a range, right? That's the example I'm going to show you right. Well, I just showed you. So let's talk about something else. Well, first, let me see if there's any questions. By the way, if you guys have any questions, just shove them in the chat there for me. All right, so let's get into why do we trade options? Well, for the reason I just showed you, but I want to show you something else. I want to show you, okay, yeah. The question is, hey man, stocks have earnings and they move up and down, and we don't know which way they're going to go. That's right. So let me show you something that I love. And I'm going to start with, well, most of you guys know about the Dow. Okay, this is the Dow Jones Index. Hold on, let me just get the chart. Okay, this is a bar chart of the Dow. So every vertical line you see on this chart represents 1 day of market activity. Okay. Now, we also have options associated with it, but I'm not going to get into that because I'm going to go to my favorite, which is the NASDAQ. Now, there are ways for you to predict, which way the market's going to go. You can, you've heard about buying calls or buying puts. If the market's going to go up, we want to buy calls. If the market's going to go down, we want to buy puts. Right. Well, there's also little things that we need to know about those calls and puts. In other words, are they expensive relative to history, or are they cheap? And another thing is, let's suppose we own Apple stock and we want to protect it against a downslide. You've heard of covered calls. Okay, well, a covered call is we own Apple and we're going to sell a call, which is a higher strike against it, and we're going to collect a premium, and if the market goes up or stays the same, we're going to make the money. Simple, right? Yes, at first glance. The professionals, know how to take advantage of that, and the amateurs today have so much more information that you guys can trade like the professional and even trade on the same level and still be an amateur. You don't have to be a professional. You can, have your job and everything. So, get my chat here again. Sorry, guys, you can't see the entire chat, but hold on a second. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the NASDAQ here. Okay, now what you see on my screen is I'm going to highlight this. Okay, that's November, and you see like the number 11? That means that November has 11 days left until expiration of all these options. Now, each one of these that you see on the vertical column, well, right above here, the ones with the C are calls. The ones below that are puts. Now, here's what I want to impress upon you today. I don't want to get too technical because I told you I wasn't going to. And of course we can, later on. But I want you to see that the NASDAQ 100 index right here today closed at 2671. Okay. Now, I want you to look at 26. Let's look at 2700. Right there. Okay. It's 2725. Sorry. Okay, 2700. So the NASDAQ closed at 2671. Okay, that's below 2700, right? Yeah. So if we were to take 27, let's get my trusty little calculator here, 2,700 minus 2671. What a crappy calculator. I need to get another one. 20, I should do this in my head, right? 2,700 minus 2671. All right, so there we go. We're 29 points out, right? Okay, so today, the NASDAQ 100 index is 29 points below 2,700, right? Right here. Now, you see this number, 1950? Let's suppose that you were talking to your neighbor and you said, hey, man, I think the NASDAQ's going to go up beyond 2,700 in the next 11 days. He might say, well, maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. And what if you said, well, would you be willing to bet me? And he might say, no way. If he's in his right, he'd say that. But anyway, in the market says that if you think that the NASDAQ's going up to 2,700 or beyond within the next 11 days, you have to pay $19.50 for every 100 contracts. So if you buy one, I'm just going to show you. Let's say you buy one. It's going to cost you a bunch of money. And here's what it looks like. It's going to cost you $1,900 to bet or guess or whatever that the market's going up. Here's what it looks like on the graph. If the market goes up, you make a bunch of money. If the market stays where it's at or goes up just a little bit, you lose money. See this line? That solid line? That's at expiration. That tells me what your option is going to do 11 days from now. All right, so let's examine why that is. Well, why does it cost you $19.50 to bet that the market's going to go up? Because the people that are selling options say, well, the market could easily go to 2,730 or 2,720 or whatever. But if it costs you, let's just round it up. If it costs you $20 to buy an option, the market has to go beyond the strike price, which in this case is 2,700 right here, plus the amount you paid for it. So the market has to go up beyond 2,700 plus 19.5, let's call it 20. So it has to go beyond 2,720 within, right here, 11 days. Is that a good bet? Maybe. Maybe not. Allow me to show you what a better bet is than that. Let's say that you don't know, let's look at the price chart, and this could be Google, Apple, IBM, Merck, pick your stock. I don't care. Let's say you say to yourself, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's going to like trade between, here and here. Okay? Up and down. This is how the professionals make money. They don't care if the market goes up or if it goes down. Now, sometimes we have an inclination, we lean one way or the other. But if we're wrong, we don't want to lose money. So we'd love to be right and make a ton. If we're wrong, we make a little bit. Pretty cool, huh? Here's the way it works. I don't want to get too complicated with you guys. All right, I'm just going to show you like an existing position that I have. Actually, it's right here. Okay, I don't want to get too complicated, but I'm just going to show you something now. Inside of this matrix that we have here, you notice right now that you see a +5 and a -5 up here in these calls. Okay. You'll notice down here you see a +7, -40, +33. Okay. Don't worry about what that means right now. Okay, but I want you to understand that this column is existing position. See, EXPOS. Okay, this is my position right now. Don't worry about what, how many the numbers are. Don't worry about that. I just want to show you something. Okay, now, if you look at this graph, you're going to notice something. Well, amongst other things, let me zoom in. You're going to see like this, follow my mouse, see a 0 right here, okay? That is break even. That's the break even line all the way across, okay? 0. Up here are positive numbers. That means gains. Down here means losses. Now, you're going to see dotted lines. Okay, this one I'm going to highlight right here. This lower line. That represents today. So if you look down here at the bottom, I'm going to move my mouse slowly down here. Okay. This is the Russell 2000 index. Now, if you look at these numbers, like right here, we're talking about 817, 812, 807, 802, 797. If you can envision the price chart turned sideways, that is how this is represented here. Okay, I'm going to go to the price chart. See how the price chart moves up and down vertically? See this green zone right here? Imagine turning this sideways, okay? Imagine it sideways. Here's what it is. As you move down to the left, that represents the price going down on that vertical axis. As you move up, it represents the price going up on the vertical axis. So in essence, what we've done here is we've turned the price chart on its side, and we've represented our profit zone based upon the area of the movement of the stock. In this case, it's Russell 2000. Okay. So we don't, as long as the price of the Russell 2000 index stays between 850 and we can even take it down here, but let's just stop right here. 780. As long as it stays between those 2 points within the next X number of days, we're going to make money. Now, we're going to continue to make money day after day after day because we have this little thing down here called theta. That theta tells us how many dollars we're going to make every day if the market stays right where it's at. Is it going to stay where it's at? No, it's going to move up and down. So, these numbers will change, but what I want you to get is the essence of the fact that if you look at a price chart like this, and you say to yourself, wow, I think it's going up, or wow, I think it's going down. Well, what if I said to you, I don't care if it goes up or down. As long as it stays between this blue line and that blue line for the next 10 days, I'm going to coin money. So that's what we do as traders. That's how we do it. It's obviously a little bit more complicated than what I'm letting on here, but I want you to see the essence of it. So we don't have to pick market direction. We don't have to, we can. There's ways where we can say, well, I'm a little biased to the downside. So we can lean our strategies towards the downside so that if we're right, we might make a little bit more money. But as professionals, we don't want to lose money when we're wrong. Well, if we can avoid it. Losses are part of the game. I won't kid you about that. They are. But we like to minimize those and make money whether the market goes up or down. So I want to now hold on, I'll get a chat going here. I want to take some questions because sometimes in the introductory courses, I'm not sure if you guys already know all this stuff or if I'm losing you or whatever your level is. Now, my goal is to address the person that has no idea what options are. So no question is a bad question or absurd or whatever. And if I don't get feedback from you guys, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself or if I'm, whatever, or if I'm lagging behind. So I want to encourage you guys right now to send me a question in the chat. Actually, before you guys do, well, while you're doing that, I had an email from a guy that was with us on Friday, and his question was, "Hey, man, I trade stock." Well, I'm on a paraphrase, okay. He basically said, I trade stocks and I like to use Gann analysis and Fibonacci, and I'm thinking that there's some way that I can use options to as leverage and use my technical analysis to time when I should buy or sell those things. And you know what? Perfectly valid. Great question, and it's perfectly valid. You certainly can do that, but you have to know if you're going to buy or sell an option, you have to know, is it fairly priced? How do you know if you've never traded options before? How do you know what the fair price of an option should be? Well, That's what we do. We teach you how to analyze that. It's not that hard to figure it out. But what you don't want to do is, like, let's say you have an account with Ameritrade, and you say, hey man, I want to buy I don't know, I want to buy 10 shares of Apple. Well, what if you had to call the guy and he says, hey, dude, I'll sell you 10 shares of Apple at X, and you look on your screen and say, well, it's trading at Y. It's trading at, I'm going to throw out hypotheticals. Let's say it's trading at 400. You say, I want to buy it at 400. He says, no, I'll sell it to you for 410. I mean, you going to buy it at 410? $10 higher than the market? No. But that's why you need to know how options trade, because they do trade at premiums, but there's so much more advantage to trading options than stocks. So much more. Tons. Think about how much it would cost you to buy Apple. A bunch. What if I were to tell you that you could do a surrogate and buy Apple, the same as owning the stock, for 1/10 of the price, or 1/100th? That's where options come in. But I'm not talking about shooting for the moon. Uncle Harry, he bought, all these, calls or puts, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about trading within the market, realistically within the market, and making money whether the market goes up or down. And there's a bunch of ways to do that. But it takes a little bit of thought and process. But it's not that hard, really. Okay, let's take some questions. I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself or behind myself. So, does anybody like any rudimentary thing, like what's a call, what's a put? What's the screen? What is these numbers on my screen? I guess I might as well show you my trading platform. This is where you find options. This is Interactive Brokers. You got quotes and stuff just like any other place. These are option strings. I don't want you to get confused, but this is how you find them. So it's easy to, come across all this stuff. Okay. Well, maybe I should talk about just briefly, we have an election coming up. I don't think it's going to matter one way or the other in terms of stock prices, but it might matter to your portfolio one way or, in the long run, but I don't know. I'm not going to go into that, but I'd like to hear from someone if they have any question about stocks, covered calls, any question about this, because again, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself or not. It flows off my tongue. So, okay. All right. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, since there's no questions, I want to bid everybody a good night. Okay, I do have one question here. Okay, great. The question is, hey man, what's the difference between a credit spread and a debit spread? That's a great question. I'm going to show you right now. Okay, look at the screen right here. Let's just look at the front month, like November right here at 11 days. I'm just going to pick strikes. It doesn't mean anything. It's just hypothetical, okay? So I'm going to go into calls. This would be a credit spread. If I sell 10 options and I buy 10, now I'm selling the 2725s and I'm buying the 2775. So I'm selling these that are close to the money and I'm buying these that are farther away. Now, if I sell 10 of these, I'm getting $11.70 for each one. If I buy these, I'm getting $3.50. Let me just do this. Make it simple. -1 and +1. If I sell one at $11.70 and I buy one at $3.50, I've got a credit, right? Well, for now. That's what the trade looks like. Here's the current price of the instrument. So if the market goes up, you can see that over time, I might lose a little bit of money, but over time, at expiration, I'll capture the premium between what I sold and what I bought. It's not such a great trade, but that is a credit spread because I received a credit when I sold it. But don't be mistaken. Don't think that, oh, wow, I just made a ton of money and I don't have to do anything. No. Imagine if you did this. Let's say we bought that and sold that in the calls. That is known as a debit spread. Why? Why, Tony? Why? Because it cost me $821 because I bought that for $11.70 and I sold that for $3.50. So if you went on eBay and you bought a refrigerator for $1,100 and then you decided, I can't use this because it doesn't fit in my kitchen, and then you turned around and sold it for $3.50, that's a debit, right? You lost money on that deal. Well, that's akin to this. However, you don't lose money on this deal until 11 days have passed, or as the days go on, it looks like this. Okay? If the market continues to go up, you're going to make money. If the market stays the same or does not go beyond 27.25 at expiration, like 11 days from now, you're still going to lose money. So you're saying, hey, man, I think the market's going to go beyond 27.25 within the next 11 days. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. What about the guy that says, hey, you know what? I'll sell that to you, man. Okay? You can buy it from me because I don't think it's going to go that way. Okay, that's what that guy's graph looks like. So if the market continues to go up, he's going to lose money, or she, and you're going to gain money if it stays the same. That's the way options work. But we don't just do that. What if we said, hey, man, what if I don't know which way it's going to go. What if I did this? What if I sold one of those and bought one of those and then bought and sold one of these? So what if I did like a credit spread and a credit spread? This is known as a condor. Now, yeah, if the market's to go up over a period of time, you might lose money. But what if the market stays where it's at or it just goes up or down a little bit? These lines represent time in the future. This line is 6 days from now. That dot is today's price action. So 6 days from now, if the market says goes up to here or down to here, you're going to make money based on this theoretical representation of what the options are going to do. This solid line tells you at expiration, when those options expire, you're definitively going to make that amount of money if the market is between there and there. Is that a good bet? Well, maybe yes, maybe no. It looks like this. The green area. So, in essence, that's what we do as income traders is we identify where we think the market might be going over a specific period of time, and then we design our strategies to give us a gain in that area over that time. But there's also a little bit more kicker. It's a three-dimensional chessboard because we have a little thing called volatility, which we can gain or benefit from. So it's not just, is the market going to stay between here and here, but it also is the market going to get more volatile? In other words, are the option traders going to create some additional premium in the options? And that's the subject of our next meeting. All right, all right, guys, so that's about all I've got for today. Let's catch up on Wednesday, Wednesday afternoon, same time. We'll go back through we'll get into what we call volatility or Vega, implied volatility of options, and we'll start, from there. So thank you for everyone being with us tonight. It's 5 o'clock. I'll let you guys go, and I'll see you on Wednesday.